and seen on video.
Yeah, I watched it about a dozen times or so last night and again this morning. I'm just not comfortable with Patrick's behavior around the ball.
Patrick Reed lived every golfer's dream. He won the Masters, earned millions, became a Ryder Cup hero, and yet somehow ended up one of the most disliked figures in golf. Fans don't just watch him stumble, they actually cheer when he does. How does a green jacket winner reach a point where the world seems to root against him? The truth isn't in one mistake, it's in a pattern that built up over time. We're talking family drama, college tension, rule controversies that always seemed to go in his favor, and eventually a career choice that made him go from just divisive to straight-up infamous. This is the wild story of Patrick Reed. Patrick Nathaniel Reed was born on August 5, 1990, in San Antonio, Texas, and grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. His parents were supportive but serious, especially his dad, who pushed his golf game hard from the start. From a young age, Reed wasn't just talented, he was a serious threat on the course. Between 2005 and 2007 at University High School in Baton Rouge, Reed led his team to back-to-back state championships. He earned top honors as a state medalist, became a Rolex AJGA All-American, and even snagged a major junior title at the Junior Open Championship in 2006. His sharp edge and competitive drive made him stand out fast. That same energy followed him into college, but that's where things started to get messy. Reed began his college career at the University of Georgia, with all the hype of a future golf superstar. On paper, he looked like the perfect recruit for a powerhouse program. But just a year later, he was dismissed from the team, and that's when rumors started to swirl. The official details remain unclear, but according to reports from Shane Ryan's book, some teammates accused him of breaking team rules and causing tension within the group. Those stories claimed he was involved in some sketchy behavior during qualifying rounds, but nothing was ever proven. Reed has always stood by his side of the story, saying it wasn't about cheating or dishonesty, but about breaking alcohol-related rules that got him kicked off the team. Whatever the truth was, that early controversy would stick to him for years to come, and it was only the beginning of the legend and the storm that followed Patrick Reed. Either way, Georgia decided to move on from Patrick Reed. But that wasn't the end of his story. He transferred to Augusta State University, and in a twist no one saw coming, became the heart and soul of their team. He led Augusta State to 2 national championships, proving that no matter what people whispered, his skills on the course were the real deal. Still, the shadow of that Georgia chapter followed him everywhere. Once your name gets tied to words like cheating or trouble, even without proof, people remember, so by the time Reed turned pro in 2011, a brand new storm was already brewing. And this time it wasn't on the course, it was at home. In his early 20s, Reed made a deeply personal decision to distance himself from his parents and sister. When he got married, his family wasn't invited to the wedding, something that caught everyone's attention. Then, during the 2014 US Open, things got even more tense. His parents and sister reportedly came to watch him play using a friend's tickets, but they were escorted off the grounds, after his wife, Justine, allegedly asked event officials to remove them. It was a shocking moment that added another chapter to the Reed family drama, and it didn't end there. Even when Patrick Reed captured the biggest win of his life, the 2018 Masters, his family wasn't part of the celebration. They weren't just missing from the crowd. Reports say they weren't even at Augusta National. No one outside the family knows every personal detail, but from the outside looking in, it made Reed's story feel even more complicated. But while his personal life kept making headlines, his golf game just kept getting stronger. Reed was climbing the world rankings fast, proving his talent was undeniable. Then he grabbed the mic and made one of the boldest statements in golf. He said he believed he was one of the top 5 players in the world. Big talk, especially for someone ranked 40. Some fans loved the confidence, others thought it was cocky, but guess what? He backed it up. Reed started stacking PGA Tour wins, proving he could handle pressure like a pro. And when it came to team golf, that's where he truly came alive. Like he was built for those high-stakes moments. Patrick Reed turned into a Ryder Cup beast, representing Team USA 3 times with unmatched fire and intensity. His energy, his reactions, and his fearless shot-making earned him the nickname Captain America. Fans couldn't get enough of his passion on the court. His peak moment came at Hazeltine in during that unforgettable duel with Rory McIlroy. The atmosphere was electric, both players trading unbelievable shots, chest bumps, and fist pumps like it was a heavyweight fight. Reed came out on top, sealing the match and proving himself as one of Team USA's most dangerous players under pressure. Then came 2018, a year that felt like the top of the mountain for Patrick Reed. He conquered Augusta, holding off big names like Ricky Fowler and Jordan Spieth to claim the green jacket at the Masters, his first and only major win so far. It was the highlight of his career, the moment where everything else faded away. For a short while, there were no family controversies, no old college rumors, just Patrick Reed, Masters champion, standing on top of the golf world. But that peace didn't last long, because the same kind of drama that followed him in college started creeping back, and this time it was caught crystal clear on camera. Later that same year at the Hero World Challenge, cameras showed Reed moving sand behind his ball, not once, but twice. To most fans watching, it looked like he was improving his lie, something totally against the rules. Reed immediately defended himself, saying he didn't do anything wrong, and that it was all about the camera angle making it look worse than it was. Still, the footage told a different story to many viewers, and it quickly blew up. Golf Channel analyst Brandel Chambly didn't hold back. He called it cheating, which set social media on fire. Fans were furious, and although Reed only got a 2-stroke penalty, the hit to his reputation was massive. Even other players started speaking out. Cameron Smith made a strong statement saying, "If you make a mistake, maybe once you can understand. But to give a bold response like blaming the camera angle, that's pretty up there. I don't have any sympathy for anyone that cheats." That moment changed everything. What was supposed to be another quiet off-season tournament turned into one of the biggest controversies of Reed's entire career, and it made his Captain America image look more complicated than ever. Those old college allegations that once seemed like just rumors, suddenly they didn't sound so impossible anymore. Fast forward to 2021, at the Farmers Insurance Open, and it felt like history was repeating itself. Reed's ball landed deep in the rough, and he claimed it was in bed. He went ahead and took relief before a rules official could even check the original lie. By the time an official arrived, Reed had already marked the spot and picked up the ball. Later, TV footage showed that the ball had actually bounced before stopping, a detail that usually means it wouldn't have been embedded at all. Technically, Reed didn't break any official rule, but the way it looked, that's what made people furious. Fans weren't just reacting to that one moment. They were connecting every dot. From the old college accusations to the Hero World Challenge sand controversy, and now this, it created a picture people couldn't ignore. A golfer who always seemed to find the gray areas and walk away clean. What could have been a small, on-course misunderstanding turned into a major storyline that followed Reed everywhere he went. By 2022, things took an even wilder turn. Reed wasn't just fighting criticism from fans anymore. He took the battle into actual court. After joining Elite Golf in June, he filed a massive $750 million defamation lawsuit against Golf Channel and several of its analysts, including Brandel Chambly. Reed claimed they had spent years spreading false and damaging statements about him, saying there was a coordinated effort to ruin his reputation. But the reaction from the public, not what he hoped for. Most people didn't see it as a heroic stand for truth. They saw it as a desperate move to repair a reputation that was already in freefall. And it didn't help that he had just joined Elite Golf, the most controversial league in the sport, known for dividing the golf world. So now you had Patrick Reed, a player already branded as one of the game's biggest villains by many fans, joining a league that stirred non-stop debate, while also suing the media for calling him out. It was the perfect storm of drama, lawsuits, and controversy, all circling one of the most polarizing names in modern golf. Reed was now one of the faces of the new league, competing for huge purses, but also facing constant criticism from fans and traditionalists who believed Elite had sold out golf's legacy. Reed didn't care. At least that's how it looked. He played with his signature fire, and every time he made a clutch putt, he stared down the camera like he wanted the whole world to remember who he was. But the headlines wouldn't stop chasing him. At a Dubai tournament early that year, Reed got caught up in yet another viral moment. Reports said he tossed a tee in the direction of Rory McIlroy on the range after Rory didn't respond to a greeting. The internet exploded. People called it petty, others called it disrespectful. But Reed's fans said it was just him being himself, confident, unbothered, and ready for drama. When asked about it, Reed said it was just a lighthearted gesture, not meant to offend anyone. But Rory's silence spoke louder than words. For golf fans, it was another example of how Reed always seemed to attract conflict, even when he wasn't trying to. It didn't matter what he did. Every gesture, every comment, every eye roll became a story. And through it all, he kept swinging, chasing wins, and keeping that chip on his shoulder that had carried him since college. Whether people booed or cheered, Reed stayed locked in, making sure no one forgot the name Captain America, even if the cheers had long turned into noise. By 2024, Reed's path in golf was like a movie that refused to slow down. Lawsuits, media battles, and on-course controversy. It was all part of his brand now. He continued to play in elite golf events, occasionally mixing it up in majors. But everywhere he went, the same question followed. Was Patrick Reed misunderstood, or just unapologetically himself? That year, his legal battles made another round of headline. Reports surfaced that several of his defamation claims were either dismissed or withdrawn. But Reed didn't back down. His lawyers released new statements about how he was standing up against what they called years of media bias and character attacks. To his supporters, he was fighting for fairness. To his critics, it was another attempt to control the narrative. Either way, everyone was watching. On the course, Reed still had flashes of brilliance. At the Masters, he put together a strong run that reminded people why he was once feared inside the ropes. Every big shot seemed to carry a message. I'm still here. And the crowds couldn't look away. But even when he played great, the reactions were split. Some fans applauded, while others stayed quiet, still unsure how to feel about him. Then came a surprise twist. Reed started opening up more in interviews. He spoke about how the criticism had affected him, and how much the game still meant to him, despite everything. For a moment, fans saw a different side, one that wasn't all chest thumps and fiery glare. It didn't erase the past, but it showed a glimpse of the person behind the headlines. Still, controversy never seemed far away. Even small interactions like slow play disputes or disagreements with reporters kept his name trending. Reed had become the kind of athlete who brought intensity to everything he touched, good or bad. By the end of 2024, one thing was clear: Patrick Reed wasn't fading away. Whether people saw him as golf's villain, a misunderstood competitor, or a mix of both, he remained one of the sport's most talked about players. Every swing, every quote, and every rule call seemed to add another layer to a career that refused to quiet down. This definitely wasn't the redemption story Patrick Reed had been hoping for. Then came 2023 and the Dubai Desert Classic, and once again, the spotlight found him in a way no player wants. Reed hit a wild tee shot that disappeared into a cluster of tall palm trees. He insisted that he spotted his ball in one specific tree and took a drop right below it. But then, video replays surfaced, and they seemed to show that the ball might have landed in a different tree entirely. Technically, the ruling followed the rulebook, but the fans weren't having it. To them, it was déjà vu, a familiar pattern they'd seen too many times before. Another confusing moment, another benefit of the doubt. Another controversy, with Patrick Reed right in the middle of it. Reed stood by his version, saying he did everything by the book. But the golf world's reaction felt different this time. People weren't debating anymore. They were sighing, rolling their eyes like they'd seen this movie one too many times. So, when you look at Patrick Reed's career as a whole, what do you really see? On one side, he's a Masters champion, a Ryder Cup warrior, and a 9-time PGA Tour winner. He's proven his skill, his toughness, and his ability to perform when the pressure's at its highest. But on the flip side, you've got a long list of controversy, accusations of bending the rules, public tension with family, and lawsuits against media figures who criticized him. Some fans still argue that he's misunderstood, that he doesn't technically break the rules, he just plays right up to the edge of them. But others say that's exactly the issue. Golf has always been a game built on honesty and respect, and Reed's career keeps testing where that line really is. When your name shows up in headline after headline, controversy after controversy, at some point the benefit of the doubt runs out. And that's what makes Patrick Reed such a rare figure in modern sports. A player whose villain label feels strangely earned, not because of one big mistake, but because of years of smoke that made everyone believe there must be fire. If you found this story wild, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss more untold stories like this. There's always more drama behind the scorecards, so stick around because we've got plenty more to break down.